Okay, so the time is currently about 11:30. I've got about half an hour until my midnight showing of Endgame starts. We've just sat and watched Infinity War. It's my first time doing this whole vlogging thing, so I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but safe to say I am so excited for this. These 3 hours, I hope, are going to be some of the best Marvel have to offer. I can't wait. The hype behind this film has been insane. Like, this is an event. Like, Infinity War was big. Infinity War was a huge film, but Endgame feels like it's an event. Like, people had to buy their tickets so far in advance. Tickets sold out within seconds. This is going to be one of the craziest films we're ever going to get. Wrapping up 11 years of Marvel movies, 22 films now. The hype is through the roof. I'm beyond excited. So I'll see you in about 3 hours to give you my initial reaction. Holy shit. Whew, wow. Okay. Let's do this. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Luke's Reviews, and on today's video, I will be reviewing what might just be the biggest film of all time. No, it's not Dora the Explorer and the Lost City of Gold. It is one of the most anticipated movies, not just of this year, not just of this decade, but like I said, all time, Avengers Endgame. Now, before any of you start panicking, this is an entirely spoiler-free review of Avengers Endgame. If you guys want me to, I will put up a spoiler video where we can talk about everything that happened and how Avengers Endgame is leaving off. But for now, this is just completely spoiler-free. However, because this is a review, I might need to talk about the tiniest of story elements. So if you want to remain completely blind, here are just my general thoughts of Avengers Endgame, and you can come on back once you've seen the film. So Avengers Endgame is the perfect conclusion to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Infinity Saga at least. It rewards everyone who has followed the MCU right from its inception up until now, having only seen it the once. So I'm a little hesitant to say this, but just from the once, I'm quite confident in saying that it is possibly the best film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, possibly the best Marvel film we've ever had, and possibly one of the best superhero films we've ever had. Believe the hype, guys. If your expectations are already sky high, take them even further. Times it by infinity, if you will. Avengers Endgame isn't just a film. This isn't just a movie. This is an event. You need to be a part of this to truly experience something so special. Those are just my general thoughts, and now we'll actually get on to the review itself. So I'm sure most of you are aware, or at least I hope you are if you're watching this video, at least how Infinity War ended. If you haven't, why are you watching this video? Go over and see Infinity War, then watch Endgame, and then come back and watch this video. But obviously, Thanos snapped his fingers and turned half of the universe to ash. They're missing. And so Endgame picks up kind of following our heroes grieving. They're devastated. They're kind of torn apart after their loss. We've got Cap and his crew are still stuck on Wakanda, and you've got Tony stuck in space. So that's as much detail as I can give you. That's pretty much all the detail that the trailers have given you as well, because the marketing for Avengers Endgame, they haven't lied to you. When Kevin Feige said that they're only really going to show you the first 15 or 20 minutes or so of Avengers Endgame in the trailers, he's not lying. There is so much you haven't seen yet of Endgame. There are so many surprises, so many twists, so many turns, so many revelations that will have the entire audience up on their feet in places. Endgame is just an experience I don't think I have ever had before. But I guess behind all the complexity that initially you see in Endgame, it's quite a simple story structure. It's basically 3 acts. The first act is quite somber. It's quite glum and dark for a Marvel movie at least. That there doesn't seem to be much hope. It's very much continuing that tone that Infinity War left on. This hopeless, helpless desperation that all our heroes are facing. Act 2 kind of then picks up and we go on a big adventure, and then you get Act 3, and yeah. Oh boy, is all I can say for Act 3. Oh bloody boy. But what Endgame does so well is that it's full of these nice little nods and winks to the films of its past, and it's honouring us as fans and thanking us for our commitment by just tying everything together. It's like a complete story now. And when it comes to these giant franchise blockbusters, I always work on the premise that no matter how many tie-ins it has to past films or how many things it's setting up for future films, I need to look at, does the movie work on its own 2 legs? And for Avengers Endgame, it sure does. The performances from the whole cast are fantastic. Standouts like Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, Paul Rudd as well. It goes without saying that everyone in this film is fantastic, but those guys in particular, the way that they just know their characters at this point, inside out, they completely transform themselves, and you are so attached to them from the moment we first met them, whether it be 11 years ago, 5 years ago, no matter how long it was. You are just so committed to them as a fan, as an audience. And their performances, they really go into some depths that we've never seen some of these characters hit before. And for those watching, this really shouldn't come as a surprise, because not only is this capping off the Infinity War story, this is also capping off the Infinity Saga that we've seen started way back in 2008 with Iron Man. And that unfortunately does mean that we are saying farewell to some characters. That's not a spoiler. That everyone knew that was going to happen. A spoiler would be telling you which ones, but we do say farewell, and those moments are heartbreaking. The film is also shot beautifully. There are moments, there are frames within the film that I wish I could just freeze and take and put them on my wall. They are stunning. Visual effects, the cinematography itself. It is like they took comic book panels, ripped them straight out the page, and translated them perfectly onto the screen. Some of them look like paintings. That entire third act could be basically like a Renaissance painting that you see hung in an art museum. And the pacing for Endgame is remarkable too. This film is 3 hours long, and it doesn't even drag for 1 second. It is constantly entertaining, funny as well, as dour as the trailers have been. Now that I've rewatched the trailers, as dark and helpless as some of the trailers have presented Endgame to be, it's still got that trademark Marvel humor, man. And the quips come in, the jokes, the one-liners, they are perfectly placed. The Russo brothers and their screenwriters, Marcus and McFeely, have done an amazing job at creating this epic conclusion to an epic saga. And that is the best way to describe Endgame. I know it's kind of an understatement, but this film is just epic, not just in the amazing action scenes that we get, but in the smaller, more intimate moments when it's just characters talking. There's a scale. There is still an epic sense to, this is it. This is the finale. And Alan Silvestri's score, yet again, is amazing. The way he's able to include some of the past themes that we've had in some of the other Marvel movies and incorporate them in so well. And I'm telling you, when that Avengers theme hits, and it hits on multiple occasions, the hairs everywhere. And I just don't mean me, I mean everyone that was in the screen. It was a collective sense of, this is it. This is everything that I've been waiting for. Not just for these 11 years, but whenever you picked up a comic book, whenever you saw an Avengers cartoon on TV, whenever you were flipping through the pages and think, oh, what is it ever going to be like to see these characters on screen and share that time in the most amazing sense possible? Endgame gives you that. However, harkening back to what I said earlier about a movie trying to stand on its own 2 feet with this kind of scale, I think Endgame is the exception. Endgame is a fantastically crafted film on its own merits, but to truly appreciate it for what it is all worth, you need to have that connection to the MCU, to these characters that you have been with for now 11 years. Does it work as a standalone movie? Perhaps not, but it doesn't need to. This isn't just a conclusion to the story set up in Infinity War. This is a conclusion to now 22 films. That's never been achieved in the history of cinema. And I know this might feel like a stretch, but what Endgame gives us, and as you look back at the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, I know some cinephiles are going to comment and saying,
"Oh, it's 'cause it's all about money, and superheroes aren't true cinema."
The Marvel Cinematic Universe has redefined blockbuster filmmaking. It's as simple as that. The Russo brothers and Kevin Feige have truly given us a deeply emotional conclusion to this saga, and I mean very emotional. For literally like the last 45 minutes of this film, I was a mess, and I am not ashamed to say that. I was blubbering, distraught in some scenes, I was joyous in others. This is an emotional roller coaster that as soon as you get back into that station, you go to the attendant and say, "One more round." There are moments that will have you gasping for breath in tension. There are moments that will have you searching for tissues to try and wipe the tears away. And there are moments that you will want to stand on your feet, clap and cheer in absolute excitement, because this Avengers Endgame is everything you could expect and so much more. Now, Avengers Endgame is a lot to take in. A lot happens in this film, and a lot now is gonna be continued on as we move into Phase 4 and what the next chapter for the MCU holds for us. And I'm not kidding when I say that there is no perfect time to go to toilet during Avengers Endgame. Go before, and if you need to go, just hold it for as long as you can, or wet yourself. Just don't leave the seat. And even though there is so much going on, there's still this sense of control and ease from the Russo brothers. It's almost like they're placing a hand on your shoulder and be like, "It's okay. We know what we're doing, and we're going to make you very, very happy." As a fan of movies, Avengers Endgame is a terrific blockbuster. But as a fan of the Marvel movies, the Marvel comics, and just superheroes in general, Avengers Endgame is perfect. It is everything I could have ever wanted, everything I could have hoped, everything I could have ever dreamed. So after all that, it probably should come as no surprise that I'm gonna give Avengers Endgame easily a 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
So, those were my thoughts on Avengers Endgame. Like I said, if you guys want me to do a spoiler review where I talk about some of the big bits that happened in Avengers Endgame, tell me down in the comments below and I'll try and get that out for you soon. Also, don't be a dick and post spoilers in the comments, because I will get rid of that comment quicker than Thanos could snap his bloody fingers. But if you have seen Avengers Endgame, let me know what you thought in the comments below, as well as, and this is going to be a difficult question, but I just want to know, what is your favourite MCU moment? If you have enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and blog are in the description below. Many thanks for watching, guys. Go and see Endgame while you can, and I will see you in the next video.